Hello and welcome back to Asia Now, where I bring you the top stories and the top topics from around the Philippines. In this video, we're going to talk about why there's so many toxic foreigners in the Philippines. As a helicopter goes above me, let's get into today's question, our recent comments, and at the end, I'll tell you my personal thoughts about toxic foreigners in the Philippines. Someone says, I've lived in many countries and have always enjoyed expat groups, but without a doubt, the expat community in the Philippines is the most intriguing. For the newcomers, here's a rundown of what different types of expats you might encounter so you do not run away when they hit you on your first post. Type number one, the grumpy married type. They marry a woman about 20 years younger, and first, everything is bliss. They pride themselves on their wife's genuine love, although she wants the whole package, including your wallet. At first, they're proud to pay for their sister-in-law's university education. However, after covering in grandma's funeral and cousins Ferdinand's dental work, their enthusiasm wanes. They often complain that they always pay and the Filipino family takes advantage of them. Each year they stay in the Philippines, they become grumpier. Type number two, in love with the Philippines. For these expats, the Philippines is the best place on earth. If you try to give them constructive feedback to improve something, they'll tell you to go back to your own country, even if their suggestions are logical and make perfect sense. If you complain about corruption, they will say it's their country and you have to respect it. Type number three, the cocky ones. Unlike the grumpy ones, they love to show off their Filipino partner and their money, often making comments like, I quote, "Do you think 20,000 USD is enough for a month in Boracay?" Most of them had never been with an attractive woman before coming to the Philippines and feel the need to compensate in their later years by sharing their experiences with the world. Type number four, the I want it all type. These expats, which include myself at times, want to have the best of both worlds, the quality and services of the West with the prices and lifestyle of the Philippines. They love to brag about good things in the Philippines, but then complain and forget about they're still living in a third world developing country. What do you think? If you think I've missed a major group, let me know in the comments. There is one group that I think he did miss, but I'll tell you guys at the end. Let's dive into the comments. But before I do that, take a quick second. If you're new to the channel, just hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, let YouTube know you enjoy these videos. Let's get into our first comment. Someone says, I really can't stand that quote, if you don't like it, go home types. Filipinos want many things in their country to improve. Why am I not allowed to agree with them? A very good point. I think that saying, if you don't like it, go home, it comes from a sense of pride in what they have. The Filipinos and foreigners in the Philippines, they're very proud of the country, they're very proud of their relationship and their partner, and they don't want to hear negative things about the Philippines. I think it's one of those things we all know deep down, there are things that could be improved, of course, I even think so as well, but it's just not right to hear it without any constructive feedback. Like, it's one thing to complain, but when you don't provide a solution, I think that's when people get offended and they say, go back to your home country. Personally, I never agree with that sentence, go back to your home country, because not everything is 50-50 or on equal terms. You don't know why somebody's in that country. You don't know if they're just a tourist and they will go back to their home country. You don't know if they're there because of a family member, a marriage, a relationship. You don't know the backstory behind a person complaining, so I don't agree with go back to your home country. After all, we're pretty much all citizens of the world anyways. Someone else says, yes, you have overlooked the largest group because they are invisible. Those who live very inconspicuously are happy with themselves and the world. Stay away from social media and expat groups and do not seek contact with other expats. They live with the Filipinos and not in enclaves full of foreigners. It is also called the silent majority. Only those who make a lot of noise get attention. Wow, that one got 72 likes, and I think it's one of the best comments I've ever read on any social media. It's true. Most of us, like for me personally, if YouTube wasn't my livelihood, I would never be online commenting, even watching videos, to be honest. A lot of times people that are happy don't have a reason to come online and complain and say whatever. So for, let's say 1,000 people, maybe 10 of them are unhappy, or 100 of them, let's say, and those 100 speak a lot louder than those 900 that don't say anything because they're happy living their lives. They don't need to come on social media to be validated or agreed with and all that. So I think that's very true. There's a large majority of people that are very happy in the Philippines. Someone says, and then you have the group, this group does overlap with others of people who are so obnoxious and irritating with nobody in their home country and can deal with them anymore, so they're over here to conflict themselves on a population that is more tolerant and will accept money in exchange. That's a very long run-on sentence, but I think he's just trying to say a lot of the people that do come to the Philippines or any country that live abroad aren't really well accepted in their own country, whether it's through family, relationships, their jobs, or whatever. Obviously, somebody leaves the country to improve or to be in a better situation, and a lot of times the backstory isn't always positive. So yeah, sometimes it comes down to the demographic of the people within that group or country that you're visiting. Another person says, one, the holier than thou. Quote, I'm not one of those expats, similar to the you know where the airport is brigade. They love to show off how adapted and cultured they are and look down on every other expat. They live in the province, speak badly accented Tagalog, but the locals either don't understand them or just respond in English anyway. They get mad at being called afam, eat nice every day, and will be glad to remind you how uncultured and how much of a bad expat you are for not speaking Tagalog, but wanting a degree of comfort or for craving cheese. Number two, the Western refugee, traded in West for whatever reason and refuses to go back, be it the high living costs, lack of job prospects, crap movement, bad weather, quote, wokeness gone mad, or whatever other reason. Three, the barfly, chain smokes, day drinks, and keeps half of his bars of Angel City in business. You wonder if you've ever met this guy sober. Number four, the digital nomad, usually a younger dude on a tight budget, haggles with street vendors over a few pesos and annoys cafe owners by leeching off their Wi-Fi all day. Number five, whoa, this guy's got a whole bunch. Bear with me here. Number five, the jaded female expat. Came on the idea of tropical islands and Instagram content, didn't realize how bad dating would be here for them, as the local men won't look at them and the other expats are occupied by the Filipinas. Most unclothed female expats groups blaming passport bros, the lack of dating prospects, or how hard it is to find XYZ feminine products / clothes that fit. Six, the sexpats. Enough said. Number seven, the Korean type. Nobody knows much about the Koreans as they keep to themselves. But there are two main types. Type one is a wealthy family guy transferred with their company or doing who knows what. Kids go to international schools and his tailoring spouse wife is around 90% silicone, wears yoga pants, and hangs around Starbucks all day with the other Korean trailing wives, looking down on the locals and avoiding eye contact with anyone. Or type two is a tattooed Yakuza looking lurker in the bars of Angel City, but doesn't get shamed nearly as much as their Western sex-packed brethrens. First of all, Yakuza, Japanese, I believe. 8, the second time rounder. Came several years ago, married a Filipina who took him to the cleaners upon return to his home country. Now he's back around. But this time, this girl's different though, he swears. Okay, well that guy had a whole bunch of groups. I mean, I thought I had one to add to the initial comment, but this guy added 8 different groups. I agree with a lot of what he's saying because then again, at some point, every individual is different, right? So if you're gonna go ahead and group everybody together, it's not quite right. But let's go on and read one last comment before I wrap this up. You forgot the grumpily married, the ever-present simps, the ones who think they turn into Tom freaking Cruise because some young thing is all over them. Later on, when they're broke, screwed, and tattooed, they want to cry to their embassy, hang in the streets to become subject to a YouTube video, or come up with a scheme to bilk, I think it means milk, other expats out of some money. Okay, so I guess the people that don't make it. Okay, with all that being said, let's be very honest here. Every single individual is different. It's very hard to group a bunch of people together and say they're all the same. People come to the Philippines for one of the various reasons we just heard, and for a plethora of other reasons that we don't really know, right? I personally came there because I'm just traveling in Southeast Asia and I just fell in love with the people and the place, and that's why I make it my base. But with that being said, everybody's different, everybody's unique. I thought I was gonna add one last person, which would be the know-it-all type, which they think because they've been here so long, no matter what you say is not right, no matter what you think is not right, and they don't really agree with what you have to talk about. So that kind of thing is also there. But I'll be frank and very honest that the Philippines Facebook groups has been the worst I've been across multiple countries, dozens of countries, and for some reason the expats and the Facebook groups in the Philippines are just the worst. You can ask the most simple question that you get like different responses, but not really addressing what you ask. And there's a lot of accusations for no apparent reason. I remember one time I asked for like clear directions how to get somewhere because Google Maps wasn't very helpful or whatever, because I need to take ferries and buses all at once. And in the past, I've had trouble going to the ferries and not work. Whatever, regardless, people, you wouldn't believe how many people try to like shame me for asking a question like that. So that happens quite often, and I think most of my content actually comes from groups like that because there's so much negativity. So if you're coming to the Philippines, try to avoid those kind of people because it just drains your energy, right? It drains your soul, and it really is no benefit to anyone. If you think you know more than someone, maybe suggest something, but don't talk down to somebody else. Like, we all have different reasons for how we feel and different experiences, so there really isn't one right answer for some of these types of people. If you enjoyed this video, take a quick second, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, share it with somebody else, and leave your comments down below. Which type do you think we missed today? In today's, I'm sure there's many types, but I'd love to hear from you. If you take your time to write it, I'll take your time to respond. I'll see you guys next time.